The cost of living in Australia is sky high, so are interest rates, rent, and house prices. Combine all this and you've got the biggest barriers in over a decade for people looking to dip their toes into the Australian housing market. Even after you've emptied your pockets, put together a deposit, secure a loan, and finally bought that first home, you could still have regrets, all because you've made some fundamental mistakes. Each misstep could cost you more, expose you to unnecessary risks, or even put you in a financial trap with no way out. In today's video, I'll share how first home buyers can avoid these 18 common mistakes, from the most basic and most straightforward to the most easily overlooked yet dangerous ones. So make sure you stick around until the end. Hi there, my name is Alex. Welcome to my channel where I share information about real estate investment, economic trends, and wealth creation. If you like this video, smash the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to watch new weekly videos. Without further ado, let's get into it. Number 18. Rely on pre-approval. Let's kick things off with something simple: loan pre-approvals. Before buying the property, people usually check their borrowing capacity and set a budget based on that. There's nothing wrong with that. The issue arises after you get the pre-approval. Some banks handle pre-approvals entirely through automated systems. They don't ask for detailed paperwork but still send you that pre-approval letter. Then you find the property you like, only to find that the bank reverses course, asking for specific documents and telling you that you can't borrow as much as you were pre-approved. So when getting pre-approval, don't go to the easiest bank just to save some hassle. The more documents you provide up front, the more accurate your pre-approval amount will be, and the less likely you will run into issues down the road. But even with a spot-on pre-approval, the bank can still back out before you've signed the loan agreement. We've even seen cases where the bank pulled out the day before the property settlement, creating a complete mess. Well, thankfully, with our industry connections, we managed to solve the issue. Number 17. No offset account. When choosing a loan package, ensure it includes a 100% offset account. Suppose you've got some extra cash lying around. In that case, you can park it in the offset account to reduce your loan interest, all while making the minimum monthly repayments. The catch is, having an offset account might come with fees. Even if it's free, banks might try to recoup some costs through the interest rates or other fees, which could add up to thousands over the life of the loan. In that case, consider using the redraw facility of your loan account. A redraw facility isn't a separate account, but a feature of your loan account, so it usually doesn't come with any fees. If you overpay your monthly repayments, you can withdraw the excess whenever needed, so it can substitute for most of the functionalities of an offset account without incurring any extra costs. Just be aware that there might be some limitations when using the redraw function, like time restrictions or withdrawal limits, so you have to weigh your options. Number 16. Borrowing over your limit. You walk into a stunning home and think, I have to buy it, even though it's a bit pricey. That's the classic mindset for many first-home buyers, where emotion overtakes reason. You're pumped when you sign that contract, but when it's time to pay, that's when reality bites. You could extend the loan terms to lower the monthly payments, or even decide to pay only the interest and not the principal. That's a completely wrong way of owning a home to live in. Most people aim to live debt-free for that peace of mind, especially since home loan interest isn't tax-deductible for your primary residence. So most would try to pay off that mortgage ASAP. If you can't afford that home, keep looking. But remember, this philosophy is suitable only for buying your primary residence. The whole approach to borrowing and repayment for property investment needs a complete overhaul. In property investment, the goal is to maximize the efficiency of using money. So borrowing more, repaying less, and paying interest only to hold more properties is the better choice. Then you can scale your investment with leverage. Number 15. Going straight to the bank. Need a loan? Go to the bank. That's the first instinct for many home buyers in Australia. There are plenty of people walking directly into a bank to consult loan managers. But here's the catch. Those managers can only offer their bank's products. Plus, you will need to provide 100% authentic documents, leaving no room for cosmetic work, resulting in a lower loan amount or even a higher interest rate. You might miss out on the best loan products in the market. And remember, the bank staff often shift roles every 2 to 3 years, so you have to get acquainted with someone new very soon. Who's got the time for that? A reliable mortgage broker, however, and I mean a trustworthy one, can solve all these problems. For most people, a mortgage broker is a better choice. Number 14. Choosing a bank based solely on interest rate. How do you pick a loan? chances are you go for the one with the lowest interest rate, right? It's a no-brainer. Low rates mean saving money. But hold on a second, that's just scratching the surface. Sure, bigger banks may charge a bit more in interest, while smaller banks might offer less. But bigger banks have branches all over Australia. Need help? Just walk into the local branch. Smaller banks might only operate online, which isn't always convenient. Most importantly, a slightly higher rate on a larger loan could be more cost-effective. Imagine you buy a $1 million property. Bank A offers 6% interest rate and lends you 70%. That's $700,000. You'd need a $300,000 deposit and would end up paying $810,000 in interest over 30 years. Bank B, on the other hand, has a higher rate, say 6.3%, but lends you 90%. Your deposit shrinks to $100,000 and you'd pay $1,110,000 in interest over 30 years. You might think you lost $300,000, right? But you also saved $200,000 in deposit. Invest that in the stock market with an annual return of 10%, and in 30 years, that $200,000 turns into $3.3 million. Or you can use it for another property's deposit and leverage it 4 times. You make even more with Australians' 7% annual property returns. This entire shift in perspective comes from opting for a higher rate but larger loan product. Number 13. Thought you've prepared enough cash. When we buy a house, the general rule is to have 20% for the purchase price ready in cash. Sounds like a solid plan, doesn't it? Not so fast. The catch lies in the unpredictability of property valuation. After you've signed the contract, you need to apply for a formal loan. And at that point, the bank steps in to evaluate the property. Let's say you're buying a house for $1 million. If the bank's valuation is at $950,000, you're only going to get a loan of 80% of that value, which is $760,000. But wait, you initially prepared for $200,000 in cash, calculating based on an $800,000 loan. So now you've got a $40,000 gap to fill with your cash. This scenario isn't just limited to buying second-hand homes. It can also happen when you're buying new apartments, townhouses, or even house and land packages. Bottom line, just having the right amount of cash isn't enough. You should aim to have at least 30% in cash upfront. Number 12. Ignore the government grants. We've encountered many cases where people only realize after purchasing their homes that they were eligible for government grants. Then they come to us asking if they can still claim these subsidies. Less than half of these cases can be solved by our legal team. The smart move is to research whether you qualify for any grants or tax relief on the federal or state and territory levels before making your purchase. There are more than 10 such policies to consider. Although it's a bit complicated, it is well worth your time because some policies could exempt you from stamp duty, while others might enable you to buy a house with as low as 2% deposit. Each grant has its own eligibility criteria. The more substantial the grant, the stricter the rules. Just keep in mind that many of these grants have property price caps, so make use of these subsidies where you can, but don't compromise on buying the right home to get a grant. Number 11. Don't negotiate. You found the property. Naturally, the next step is to make an offer. But many agents employ various tactics to push you offer higher. They might say, this property is very hot, several people have viewed it, and we've already received a better offer. You need to increase yours or you will miss out. If you refuse, they might add, tonight I'll present all the offers to the seller, and they'll likely choose the highest one without notifying you. Do you want to make a better offer or risk losing the house? When you question the validity of the so-called higher offer, the agent will sure dodge, saying, sorry, I can't disclose that, but I do have a higher offer in hand. All information you have comes from the agent. If it's a bluff, holding your ground could make you the winner. But what if it's true? When buying a house, always be prepared to walk away, and that's the way to win a negotiation. Number 10. Offering before the auction. If a property is listed for auction, there's usually 4 to 6 weeks for property viewing before. During this time, the real estate agent might invite you to make a pre-auction offer. Would you go for it? I wouldn't make an offer unless the seller has explicitly committed to selling before the auction or has set a certain price at which they'll sell early. Why? Because often agents and sellers are just testing the waters, not truly committed to selling beforehand. Pre-auction offers from multiple buyers only boost the seller's confidence, potentially leading to a higher reserve price at the auction. This, of course, is not in your favor. Number 9. Lack of due diligence. In addition to factors like location, transportation, hospitals, train stations, and school zones, it's crucial to thoroughly investigate the property itself. If it's an apartment, be sure to get a strata report. Check if the building is in good shape, what the sinking fund holds, and if there are any issues with flammable cladding. ongoing lawsuits, or structural problems. If it's a house, you'll need a building report and pest control report. Failure to conduct these assessments can lead to minor or even major costly repairs. Failures to conduct these assessments can lead to minor or even major costly repairs. Number 8. Underestimating costs. If you think the cost of buying a house is just legal fees and stamp duty, think again. A detailed list might even discourage you from purchasing a property altogether. Beyond legal fees and stamp duty, there are stamp duty surcharges, third-party valuation fees, structural inspection and termite check fees, mortgage insurance, account setup and annual fees, and so on. Then there are the cleaning, possibly renovating, buying furniture, and utilities like electricity, water, gas, and property taxes. All these costs add up. If you'd like a list of costs and how much, please leave a comment and I will make a video. Number 7. Trying to be a conveyancer. If you think your law degree or capacity equips you to understand contracts or even manage the conveyancing process yourself, you might want to reconsider. Conveyancers need specific professional certifications and insurance to practice. Even if you understand the contract perfectly, you might not be able to negotiate effectively with the sellers or developers' legal teams, let alone navigate specialized conveyancing platform like PEXA. Each state or territory has its own unique conveyancing laws, adding to the complexity of the task. So the first time you should read that contract is when your own conveyancer walks you through it. Number 6. Skipping insurance. Once you've purchased your dream home and moved in, it's time to think about insurance. If you've taken out a mortgage, your bank will typically require you to get building insurance before you even get the keys. This type of insurance covers the structural elements of the house, like the walls, driveway, and roof. Should any damage occur, let's say a storm knocks a tree onto your house, the insurance company will compensate you for the damages. You might also consider content insurance for compensation in the case of theft. And if it's an investment property, rent default insurance can offer compensation if your tenant fails to pay rent or damages the property. Number 5. Do it alone. For those of you who prefer to be independent, the thought of asking for financial help from family might not even cross your mind. You save for the deposit, purchase the property, and pay off the mortgage all by yourself. While I admire your determination and grit, consider the alternative. You might save yourself a decade of hard work. If your family can contribute part of the deposit or help with mortgage payments, you could become a homeowner years ahead of schedule. You may find that the appreciation in your home's value over those years could surpass your entire salary earned during the same period. Doesn't life feel a lot lighter just thinking about that? Don't carry the burden of home buying on your shoulders alone. Seek out all the help you can get. Each year saved is another year less you have to struggle. Number 4. Wanting it all. Many people want their first home to tick all their life's boxes. Great location, top-notch school district, convenient shopping, medical facilities, and work commute. On top of that, they want the property to appreciate quickly and also be affordable. How is that possible? Price, condition, and location are 3 irreconcilable elements. A cheap and new property will be far away. A cheap and nearby one will have a bad condition. A new and nearby one will never be cheap. Similarly, your ideal home for owner-occupying often won't yield great investment returns unless you are in the market for a luxury mansion, which is outside the scope of this video. So try to pick a side and go from there. Number 3. Misunderstanding who agents work for. Have you ever treated a real estate agent as a friend, a mentor, or even an investment advisor? After all, many agents print the title investment consultant on their business cards. But make no mistake, agents are not your friends, mentors, or advisors. They're essentially your opponents. Any advantage you gain is a disadvantage for them. Agents represent the sellers aiming to sell the property for the highest price in the shortest time. Given that sellers pay the agents, it is hard to imagine why they'd favor the buyer. If you want an agent on your side, you have to hire and pay a buyer's agent, someone who can help you scout properties, negotiate prices, or even strategize your investment. Number 2. Trying to time the market. Have you ever thought about waiting a little longer to buy, thinking that maybe in a few months or years, it will be the perfect time to make a purchase? I'm sure many of you have. Nobody can predict the future. While I've been spot on with my predictions for the Australian real estate market 3 times in the past few years, I can't guarantee I'll always win my bets. Guessing wrong is the norm. I spend every day studying market trends to improve my odds. If you're a newcomer or have never studied the market, your guess is as good as a shot in the dark. The best strategy for most people is to buy when they are ready, at the market price, and hold for the long term. particularly for their primary residence. Don't time the market making decisions based on guesses, because the chances are you'll miss the perfect timing you're hoping for. And now, the most crucial point. If you skip this step, you risk wasting not only your time, but also the time of those around you. Imagine a mom spends months house hunting for her son, negotiates the price, finds a lawyer, and then all that's left is for the son to sign. At that moment, the son says, "Why didn't you ask me? I don't want the pressure of a mortgage." Or maybe the son almost signs the contract only to suddenly realize that he hasn't discussed it with his family. To make your home buying process run smoothly, the first thing you should do is consult all decision makers involved. Come to a consensus and then proceed with your search. Once you find the potential home, sit everyone down for a discussion. This is the most efficient approach to home buying, especially in the rising market where every moment counts. It will minimize your overall cost. So there you have it. If you've made it this far, please give a like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Turn on the notification bell to watch new weekly videos, and follow me on social media at RealCoachAlex. Hope to see you soon. Have a good one. Bye.